All right, we are 13 Motherlode. We're going to talk about this run, what went right, what went wrong, and yeah, this is a pretty cool dungeon. I think it's one of the easier keys. The timer's like relatively free. I don't want to say like relatively free, like you have to play clean, but I think that like you could wipe here and still time it. I think is what it comes down to. I think the bosses are generally pretty chill. The hardest trash is definitely at the start, in the middle, and at the end. So I'm going to talk about everything in that video. But let's get started. So what you're going to actually see us doing here is we're like testing some stuff out because we have an idea for a better route in here to skip Peacekeepers. But this route actually has, well, we're gonna pull 3 Peacekeepers. So it is doable with Peacekeepers in the run. So yeah. Anyways, let's dive into it. So here we go, 13 Motherlode, week 1. My talents and stuff they flashed a little bit before the video, but they are going to be located down below if you want to go check it out. What we're going to be doing though first is I'm going to be getting a kick smash on these first throw wrenches. It's going to be doing a ton of burst damage to me, so I'm going to be committing dampen harm while I group everything up, and then I'm pulling all of these packs to triangle. And the reason for that is because, well, if the mech jockey is far enough away from any of the mechs, he won't run to the mech. So this allows us just to basically tunnel and not have to worry about like keeping a mech jockey from running away and stuff, which makes this pull a lot easier. And it also sets us up for a good like line of sight tech in the next pull. So we're going to focus down one of the assassins. You basically, the idea here is you want to kick their toxic blades and then use a AoE CC to stop their fan of knives. That is going to do most of the AoE damage in this pull, and then you have one kick assigned to the vendor. The rest of the damage in this pull is just going to come from the basically the laborers. And that's pretty much it. This pull is going to be very tame, but I did commit a couple of things here. Black Ox Brew was committed, Dampen Harm was committed. I'm saving Fortifying Brew for the next pull. We're now going to be grabbing the Assassin, the Thug, and the Vendor, and we're going to be pulling them up next against the house. Now, the idea here is that you want the people targeted by the stun to kind of go into that little like entrance of the house so they don't get knocked up into the air super far, but we unfortunately don't do that, which is okay. Fan of Knives actually fully went off there for the most part. We didn't, we had Shockwave and Lake Sweeps available, but we didn't hit them. The knock ended up knocking me up, so I rolled and I countered it by dashing into the house, and I just fell back onto the mobs. Not a big deal. There's a good bit of tank damage here from the laborers and the thug, but as long as we're stopping like kind of the group damage, we should be pretty fine. And that's pretty much it. Once the thug and the vendor go down and it's just the laborers, we can go into the next pull. The laborers, they just melee. They don't really do anything outside of that throw wrench. So you can run with these guys. I guess we're actually just going to end up waiting, which is totally fine. Next, we have this Peacekeeper. These Peacekeepers are super nasty now. I recommend if you can skip them, do it. There is a strat where you can jump up and over the wall on the left-hand side of my screen here. Most groups have been actually doing that. We are deciding to degen this. You can also kite out this charged shield. I just don't have a lot of room to kite right now, and our healer said it's fine, so we're just going to heal through it. This does a ton of group damage. It's every successful auto attack against the tank will do damage, and it's going to do it a lot. So every time tear gas is going to come out, we're going to just chain and like pull forward, and then now that he's low, we're going to go into the next pull. I'm going to commit dampen harm for the throw wrenches, and we're going to be vibing. There are ways, at least as a Brewmaster monk, where you can kite out the Peacekeeper to minimize their damage, because what he does is he does this tank buster called Charge Shield. It's a burst of nature damage, so you want to use some type of mitigation for it, but it gives him a 12-second buff that all his autos then do group damage. But you can kite out those auto attacks just by running. Now, the one change that they made to Peacekeepers is that they basically have like 150% movement speed, so you have to be very, very fast. But like I'm sure DHs as well as like monks, maybe Prot Warriors can just outrun it. Most other tanks are probably going to struggle. But if you need to, you can just like perma kite it if you really want. And you're probably going to see me do that in a little bit. I don't know if I do it on this one or if I wait. What's also interesting though is that on the second tear gas cast is when it actually like gives you the most time to actually kite. So here we go. It's tear gas. I was going to kite here, but my transcendence is actually located in the tear gas, which will get us killed. So I don't have the option to do that right now. So I kind of made an audible. I was like, can I just tank this? And the healer was like, yeah, we're good. I'm fine. So that's what we end up doing. Feint gets committed, Dive by the Sword gets committed, and Cocoon. Tear Gas comes out, and now I'm going to pull him forward just so we can keep momentum going. So I'm going to chain into the double Assassin and Thug. Thug does a good bit of melee damage. Assassins need to be kicked on Toxic Bleed, like I said before, and then we're going to be committing something like Leg Sweep to CC Actually, I leg swept early because the charge shield came out. I didn't want to have any like extra autos hitting me during that tank buster. Next, we have Fan of Knives. I'm going to save the Ring of Peace for it. We also got some CC as well. The double ring is going to lock them in between so they don't do any other casts. And we're chilling. Assassin should die pretty quickly here. The benefit of playing a comp like this is that we just do infinite Zug damage. Like this is a Brewmaster comp if I've ever seen one. Playing all physical and just like Zug. Brewmasters are kind of known for not being able to pull really massive for big CD classes. So playing comps like this, though, Brewmaster is very good at taking five target pulls. And so when you have capped DPS that just do a lot of damage, like Fury Warrior and Outlaw Rogue, you're generally going to be fairly good here. Going into this pull, we're pulling the Laborers and Thug into the Peacekeeper. Now, I'm watching Kick on Vendor. It's going to always cast right as Tear Gas is spawning. So I'm waiting. Ice Breacher gets kicked. I'm going to have to actually double ring because the ring almost baited my kick there. We have Fan of Knives going off. I get a paralysis on it. Charge Shield is going on right now. So I'm now just kind of kiting. And then I'm going to transcend it back just to kite it out a little bit. And then I'm going to go to the other side because I want to start the boss over here. And so our melee are pretty much just following me around. And we're making sure that we're getting CC and kicks on the Assassin and the Thug whenever possible. The Assassin, CL got a good kick there, but we need a CC. Blind comes out. Good. It still ticked twice, but that's okay. Gonna kick Ice Spritzer, and then we're pretty much vibing. This charge shield I commit Diffuse for, and then we're gonna Touch of Death it once it gets low. Oh no, I don't even fuck Touch of Death. Fuck damage gains, we're good. Pulling the mob to purple. Okay, so playing full melee comp for this dungeon kind of sucks, mostly because well, soccer balls or the football bombs spawn everywhere, not just like near players. So we have to commit to losing damage to gain damage, which is bad. Normally, like range players can just kick them in, or the healer can roll around and kick them in, and it's fine. Now, in an ideal world, we don't kick bombs backwards. Unfortunately, we did. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this soccer bomb here, and I'm going to kick it at the last possible second. And what this does is it actually extends his debuff, the damage taken debuff. I'm not tracking it because I don't care to track it, but it basically... It lasts for 12 seconds, and if you kick 5 bombs in really quick, and it starts depleting, and then you wait and you kick the last one in, it basically like it refreshes the duration, which is a good way to like milk extra damage on this boss. Is it required? Definitely not. Is it nice to do for like min-maxing? Of course. So whenever he spawns these coins, I'm going to attempt to drag him away a little bit. It's not necessarily required. Mostly because, well, he can be moved during Coin Magnet. So as you can see, he's doing Coin Magnet here. This suck-in doesn't do anything. I've seen players like start to get sucked in and they panic and they run out of it. It's like, you don't need to run out of it. It doesn't do anything. It's just, if he has coins nearby, he's sucking in the coins. Knockback comes out. This is the burst of group damage. Feint comes out, die by the sword, and we're pretty much vibing. Not sure how our warrior didn't take damage, but I think it was Spell Reflect. Maybe? I don't know. And that's just it. That's the fight. So we're going to get one more bomb set in the near future. I'm going to try to pre-position myself near a melee bomb so I can kick it in. I'm getting ready for it. The arrow's going to get all janky when I use some of my spells, but I'm going to zoom in here so I can click on it. And bang, we extend. And this should carry us through the rest of the fight. And so if you see that our rogue looks like he's not doing a lot of damage, it's mostly because he's helping with the football bombs, and our warriors kind of aren't really. They're just tunneling. Which means that we're going to naturally have less damage because we have melee running out to do that. But doing that allows our warriors just to actually just obliterate this boss. So it's a small sacrifice we had to make. Appreciate CL big time. But we're going to be going to the next couple of pulls here. Okay, so this area is pretty scary. We are going to do a couple of doubles, though. We got Extractor coming in, and we're going to have double Earthshaper. Earthshapers do Rock Lance. Rock Lance is a lot of damage. You want to kick early, stun late. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a couple of early kicks here on Orange and Moon. They don't spam cast necessarily, so you don't have to worry too much about getting kicks. Both of the monks got kicks here. And then when the swirls start spawning, this is when you want to CC them. So I'm going to get a leg sweep. Unfortunately, it was a little too late. But I actually don't think our warrior died to a cast. I think he died to standing in swirls. He got caught on one of the boxes. Or one of the signs. I don't really know where. Our monk then dies to cast going off, unfortunately. And then this puncture bleed does so much damage. So use a defensive here. I commit health pot and a big Celestia brew. And then I'm going to hope that my healer can keep me up for this next part. Because it's, again, it does like a lot. I'm going to Ring of Peace to try to interrupt the casts. We're trying to dodge. I got clipped by one there, but luckily I had enough DR up. And that's it. So we lost our warrior twice and our monk once on that pull. Pretty scary pull, but you just have to be careful of a lot of like this random like trash on the ground. There's like signs and boxes and rockets that players can get caught in, which can be pretty dangerous. Drillers spawn after you kill the extractor, so just be careful on that. And then we're going into another double pull. This won't have a drill though, so the tank's going to be a little bit more at ease here. It's just triple Earthshaper, so we need kicks on diamond, moon, and orange. And that's outside of that, it's like pretty tame. 6 targets is like perfect count for our group. It's going to be pretty good for arms. It's going to be great for outlaw, and we are missing a little damage on fury because they're capped at 5, but that's a-okay. We're going to just basically focus down Earthshapers. The sappers don't really do much. They just melee, and then when they're about to die, they do a burst of damage with their bombs. And yeah, this pull is going to be this is kind of like a cooldown recovery pull for us, and then the next pull has another extractor in it, so it's going to be a little dangerous. We're going to be committing most of our bigger defensives there because it's basically big pull, use everything to live. Little pull, it's as long as we get kicks, we're fine. Big pull again here, use everything to live. And then the next pull is going to be kind of tame, where it's just like get kicks and live. This is a lot of damage. I'm going to die immediately. A little bit of a mistake on my end. I had an okay Celestia Brew there. I could have sent it, but I had no defensives. I was kind of expecting my healer to heal me, I guess. Like he had life cocoon. He could have utilized. Unfortunately, we're gonna have a couple of deaths to that wipe there, or not wipe, but an early tank death. And then I'm able to recover pretty easily. It helps when your DPS also all die, so threat gets reset. But yeah, that was like a combination of the extractor just doing a ton of tank damage along with a lot of like overlapping melees. So I should next time maybe try to save a defensive for that, but that's whatever. Lesson learned. These extractors do so much though. I hate these extractors now. Like this puncture just rips tanks apart. Like other dungeons, it's like some of these bleeds are like kind of like whatever and they're fine, but this one, man, this one just like slaps. All right, so I'm getting a quick repair. I accidentally turned off my nameplates, but now we are going to the next pull. Not sure why I marked all those little guys with markers. We don't need them to be marked. So this pull's weird. Because what it's going to do is it's going to like bait... It's going to bait you on Tectonic Barrier. You don't want to kick Tectonic Barrier. It gives them a very, very small absorb, and while that absorb persists, they can't be kicked. But once it gets broken, which it will, it then can be kicked. And the Resonant Quake cast is the thing you want to kick, because if it goes off, it's going to one-shot your group at this difficulty, or become very, very lethal with any other damage. So don't kick barriers. Kick the big AoE damage. Yeah, I'm blinking out. We have decided to pull this. We can skip it with this comp, but we decided to pull it. It's good percent. It's not too lethal as long as we get kicks. 2 sappers means a little bit of melee damage on the tank, and then swirls to dodge when they die. Rock lances is a double kick rotation, and then the Ascari does a good bit of damage to us, or to the tank specifically, but I'm like not worried about it because again, this next boss does nothing to the tank, so you don't need any defenses for that. So you commit everything here. He does make the mobs get enraged, though, which can be scary. We can't always soothe. I have pressure points. Our rogue has shiv, but we end up not really needing it. And that's it. Pack goes down for the most part. Just this guy left. What'll end up happening is if it gets kind of too scary, I can kite. What you do is you kite this mob out, and then you can sit in Zen Med if you're scared of the bleed doing a lot of damage to you. Because being in melee is just like I'm at 4 stacks right now. I'm not taking a ton of damage, but his like auto attacks on top of the bleed can do a lot. All right, so this is weird because once again we have a full melee comp. That can be pretty dangerous in a lot of circumstances because the ads prioritize fixating for range casters, range healers. But since we have a full melee comp, it's gonna focus one of our melee, and they can't really not hit the boss the whole time. So what we're doing here is we're just kiting the entire time. We're just going to be kiting in a circle and cleaving down as best as possible. Now, fortunately enough, Dad is fixating easy. And I say fortunately enough because this guy deserves to be fixated by mobs. Once the mob does his cast, I'm going to keep trying to pull him away. Easy is doing a good job at kiting the boss or the ad around in a circle and keeping it as close to boss as possible for cleave. Azrock will always empower the highest health ad. It does heal them pretty much back to full health, but then they take like 200% more damage or 150% more damage. So they're going to get cleaved down actually very fast in this comp. And same thing here. I am just doing my best to pull the boss ahead of the other Earth Rager so we can keep it slowed and our melee can have full uptime here. I can't move him, obviously, during that Tectonic Smash, so what we're going to do is we're going to commit Leg Sweep there, and then this Resonant Quake does a good burst of damage, so we're going to rally on this first set. It's not going to one-shot us or anything, but if someone is being meleeed by another ad, it can be a little spooky. What we're doing here is we're waiting for the Earth Rager not to die, because if there's one Earth Rager alive, he'll only spawn one, and then I'm going to Touch of Death the low one, which is going to allow us to, now we no longer have to kite for probably the next 30 seconds or so until he calls another Earth Rager. So at this point in the fight, it's going to be very, very tame for us. As long as this Earth Rager dies before Resonant Quake in a couple of seconds, we're going to be looking really, really good. The ad dies. I think does he go frontal here first? Yeah, it's frontal into Quake. So there's the Quake, and then he's going to spawn 2 more Earth Ragers shortly after this. Or not, or is my timer actually right? No. So there's the Earth Ragers. My DBM is super, super off. 2 are now fixating. We're kind of kiting far. I do have Ring of Peace if I need to. He's going to empower 1. Now that 1 is empowered, we can, I'm going to provoke it to try to get it over to us quicker. And we definitely want to cleave this guy down, but at this point, I think we could pretty much tunnel. All right. And that's it. Like, this fight's very easy. This is what you have to do in a full melee comp. If you're playing with, like, at least one range, like the other day, I think we were doing this with a Resto Druid. The Resto Druid just kites. It's fine. They just kite the entire time, and, like, you don't have to worry about it. But when you're playing with full melee, you kind of have to, like, run a ton, which is A-okay. Now, I did learn a little cool trick. I didn't do it in this run, but if we if you go up on this thing here, and you're playing lighter than air, you can like roll and dash, and you can just dash down to the bottom without getting blown up by mines. It'll be way faster, and you can get like a pull set up pretty quickly. You can also just mount and run down the hill, which is 0.5 seconds faster, and then you can also just take cart like we did here. It's going to be tech I'm going to be using probably in a future run, so when I do higher level commentary videos, keep an eye out for that. But here we are. We are just doing Rats and Alchemist and Weapon Tester. Weapon Tester does Echo Blade. This can do a good bit of group damage. If it cleaves people, you want to generally spread out for it. And then the Alchemist just does a cast. You want to kick. Once the rats go down, I chain in the Mastermind. The Mastermind does a really nasty Mind Link damage. It's a single target ability on one player. It can be melded, it can be feigned, it can be vanished. So if it's on you, once the channel starts, you want to make sure you can, do the thing. Do the thing and remove it. There are some debuffs out, some poison dispels that come out from the Alchemist. It's caustic poison or something like that. I don't remember the name of the ability, but you can dispel it if you want to as a tank. But we do have a healer who can dispel it, so I'm not really worried when there's only one Alchemist. Brainstorm silence you and do a ton of damage. It's weird because you'll take damage from getting hit by the swirl, and then you'll get damage taken immediately from the tornado effect. So you basically take 2 damage instances within 0.0 seconds, which will kill you. Anyways, right here we're doing a little shroud skip. And this is just going to allow us to like get to the boss quicker if we'd like to, which is what we're doing. 1 kick on the Alchemist, double Mastermind here, and Echo Blade. So we have to spread, we have to dodge swirls, and we have some single target damage going on. Because we're in a full melee comp, what I like to do is we bait double Brainstorms, and then what we do is we move like 15 yards away. And then those will disappear, and then the next set will spawn, and then we'll move back to that original position. So kind of just like a little dance, little 2-step dance. No real tank damage here. I do use some defensives just to stay healthy, but I'm not going to need on boss fight either. So just kind of use what you can here. Carrid could meld, but there is some cool meld tech on this new boss, or not new boss, but newly reworked boss. All right, so we are going to be short percent, and I figured that out after the run. We've been experimenting with some routes in here, and I definitely didn't pull. I missed 1 pack, so we are going to be doing some weird stuff at the end of the dungeon, so keep that in mind. Anyways, Flux Flame, she basically will only ever spawn a open area on either blue or triangle marker. So I put down 2 markers, so right when the thing spawns, I let my group know where I'm moving to. Now, of course, they're full melee, so they're going to follow the boss anyways, but playing with some casters, sometimes they'll stand over by blue thinking it's safe, but they'll be in like a sliver of space, and then they can't really do anything. Oh, I forgot to mention, that was the meld tech. So what happened was Karid, our Night Elf warrior, our arms warrior, got targeted by that Azurite catalyst, but he melded it. So it went away and it doesn't spawn pools. Very, very useful. Rogues can do this, a similar thing with Vanish. I don't think hunters can feign it, but it's a nice little trick for Night Elf players out there. It's not required, but it does make the fight a little less chaotic, and it gives melee players more uptime. So being able to meld it every 2 minutes is super, super nice. It happens roughly every minute. It's targeting him again, so unfortunately it is going to kind of fill up the area, but what we're now going to do is we're going to pull the boss to the entrance of the room in this tiny little sliver of space. It's not a big deal. The Azurite that spawns from the pipes actually will default clear, so you don't need to actually clear that. You just want to clear the catalyst that spawns from the Azurite catalyst that's coming out now. And that's all we're doing. Propellant blast, they're strafing to clear the room, and we're vibing. There's a little bit of group damage on this fight just coming out from Flux Flame randomly in between her spells. So when you see players taking damage, that's normally what it's coming from, is just those like little barrages. Nothing to worry about. Healer should just top them whenever they can. Die by that sword is used as a defensive. He didn't have meld quite yet. I guess it's happening every like 50 seconds or so. So you can meld every third one that targets you, I guess. Or every third one. But boss is going to die before that happens. This is a very fast boss fight. So even on a 13, this is like a sub 230, which is pretty crazy. And we didn't have lust. And even if we had lust, it would have been drums, which is fake. And that's it. So we're at 72% count. We should have been at 77. I missed a pull earlier. It's all good. We're going to pull the specialist. I'm going to chi burst through. It's going to pull, the machine. Then it's going to pull the 2 specialists behind. We just need to dodge these giant swirls. And then we're going to be absolutely vibing. Big change here for those who haven't done this dungeon yet or haven't played it or whatever. Charge shot now just does big group damage. These war machines are actually kind of scary. They've always been annoying, mostly because they're not really that efficient on trash count. But now they do very high sustained group damage, which isn't super great. But we're going to heal through it, and it's going to be A-okay. Once the specialist dies, this pull is going to be a little less hectic. Dodging those swirls is just annoying, especially as melee. We lose a ton of uptime. And these guys also spawn mines. When the mines fixate, try to bait them through. If you bait them through the boss, or the mini boss here, it becomes kind of chill. So as you can see, I have 5 fixates on me. That's kind of nice. If you let the tank just run first, the mines will always fixate on him. And then what I can do is I can like either soak them here or I can drop a Ring of Peace. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have Fortifying Brew active. I don't know if I'm going to actually soak them. Oh no, we're just going to let them die. I did a run where I tried to soak all of them and it kind of worked and it kind of didn't. So I'm trying to keep them nice and close so they get cleaved down. I'm going to use Ring of Peace to keep them away, so now our melee can just stay safe, cleave on the War Machine, and it'll kill all the mines pretty easily. And then, yeah. Machine by itself always seems to be the play. If you pull in a specialist, especially at this side of the hill, it gets kind of just awkward. So you just want to be careful. Fixating is spooky, so our warrior's trying to do a good job at kiting him away while still able to hit him. One little tip, if the mine is stunned, you can actually kind of like walk close to and or over it. It only will blow up if it's not stunned, if it's not CC'd. We're just waiting to finish off the specialist because the last pull is going to absolutely slap. And I believe what we end up doing is we're going to commit our drums to this pull specifically. So I'm going to run through first, trying to get these mines to fixate me. If other people are in combat, it'll fixate other people. But if I'm the only one in combat, the mines will fixate me. But unfortunately, it's going on our other players. We commit the Ring of Peace there. I don't know if we're actually going to lust. I think we're vibing with it. I've run so many Motherlodes this last week, I don't remember what we did in all these runs. This one is a very scary pull. There's a lot of group damage going on. We're going to start to kind of pull to the stairs here. It allows our melee to just stay on the other side. Mines will get cleaved down. We are trying to focus down one of the machines. These machines, again, like I said, they just do a ton of group damage here, especially when they go back to back like this. We are out of revival. Our monk doesn't have a lot of cooldowns. Chi isn't available yet. So we're a little spooky right now. Actually, I don't even... Dude, I think we just fucking 2-target cleaved. What are we doing? We did bad here. We should have been focusing one down, but it's fine. As you can tell, we are short. Like 2% count. I missed a pull earlier. We're going to end up pulling, I believe, just a war machine at the very end. It's not effective. This is not the route you want to do, but we're fine. Anyways, purple marker is down. This is the secret tech safe spot. So you pull the boss right next to this world marker. Unfortunately, playing with a full melee comp means we're going to naturally lose uptime because our warrior has to, or our melee have to run out. But purple, the purple marker will never, ever be targeted by a swirl. There was a bug, I don't know if it's fixed, but there was a bug during week 1 where that the swirls wouldn't show and they would hit immediately. And I don't know if that was a bug, but it meant that you kind of had to like really pay attention to the bomba heads. But when you're playing in the safe spot like this, as you can see, our melee could just stand there and keep full uptime without having to dodge and not have to worry about dodging. Our monk is going to run out, soak the little homing missile, and then he's just running back. I am aiming the Gatling gun away, so they don't have to move last second, because if bomba heads go off during this Gatling gun, you want to kind of be able to be in a safe spot. You can also run through the Gatling gun. They nerf the damage by it a lot. I think it is physical as well, so if you need to, just run through it and pop it as small defensive. As a tank, you'll never die to it, but as like a DPS player in general, you just want to be a little careful. Rogue grapples out really, really far. He starts running back into soak, and we're good. And if we can get one more Gatling gun here, he won't phase. So he phases at 50%, but he won't phase if he's in the middle of this channel. So you can actually milk out in phase 1 to get more damage on him. Is it that important? Not really. It's not like it makes phase, like his intermission, easier. It doesn't like, it's not like the fight gets harder in the last phase. It's just a rinse and repeat. But it is nice to get extra damage there. So the second phase is a little shorter. I can't remember if we drums here or not. I'm trying to remember when we drums. I think we talked about using it during this phase because getting these Sky Scorchers down is kind of important. Now that I have thread on them, I'm trying to run him really far. They have a 40-yard range and they can't be interrupted. So if they are ever on the furthest side of the arena, you taunt them, get a little bit of damage, and then if you, as the tank, go to the furthest end, you can drag them like a little bit, but overall it's very hard to do. We just want to try to get them close so our melee don't have to run really far to break these. And that's it. That's now we're going back into phase 1. I'm going to move him back over to purple slowly but surely. He will eventually follow me. I'm glad they made it. He used to, whenever he was doing his little like tank cast, he used to not move, which was really annoying. But now he does, and we're good. So I'm going to try to position him right near Diamond. He's definitely not in the best spot right now, but that's a-okay. When bomba heads are fine, it doesn't matter, but this strat is super nice. And yeah, homing missile. And it's, again, just it's rinse and repeat. There's nothing new in this phase. We did lust this phase instead. We used drums. Now I can see that the bomba head is moving to a bad spot, so I know that we're going to get targeted on the next one. So melee want to be standing here on purple. I see that. I am also standing here, and as you can see, it does not hit. And we're good. Homing missile on easy. He's leaping out, charging back in, hits all of us with the homing missile. We all have the dot now. Our monk dies because of it. Guy was greeting for no reason. It's all good though. We have one more trash pull left, but with 3 minutes remaining, we are going to be looking really good. This was not a clean run by any, but this is what I meant at the start of the key when I was like, you could wipe and like it could be okay. Again, if we like full grouped wipe on like, it depends on the part of the dungeon you wipe at, but for the most part, like the graveyard updates are pretty good. It's like right when you kill first boss, right when you kill second boss, right when you kill third boss. Like these are all graveyard updates, so it's pretty chill to like just be able to do that and run back. Then we're finishing up this charge shot. And easy peasy. And yeah, that's it. I mean, that's a run. I just fast forward. Nothing exciting happened. And yeah, that's a big old a big old timed key. I got a Haste Mastery ring with Leech. I think I ended up giving it to our warrior, but yeah, pretty good. Anyways, let me know what you thought down below. If you have any questions, of course, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. Feel free to check out my links in the description below. I have my stream information. I have been streaming a fair bit of these keys lately. I don't believe I streamed this run in particular, but I'm streaming, and then I also have a Discord server. So if you have questions or want to ask things or talk to other tank players, feel free to join. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.